So you're here with me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch, and we are doing a video that was requested by my really, really close sister Maddy in New Zealand, and we're taking the sugar cane and turning it into poppets. But it's me, taxidermy, so we're doing more than that, right? And so sit down and take some notes on what I'm doing. Most of it I'm just going to go on the fly. There are going to be a few parts to this video as it's going to take a long time to do. The only way I could do it in the whole video would be to do a live feed because you can go as long as you want on those. However, I wouldn't be able to answer questions and focus and all of that. So I've decided to do it this way. Step one, maybe the bones of it, we'll call it. The bones of the sugar cane, and we're also adding rose and dill stalks to it, or stems. So all of this is going to be really, really cool. I even have dill roots that I might make as the feet. We'll check that out. So I think you can kind of see everything there. I've got a full table of dill, my rose bouquet from my wedding. That's totally love and lust. Dill represents love and Cunningham's, and make sure you check out that video. I believe it had love properties, if I'm not mistaken. So that's what we're up to here. And then later on in these videos we'll be doing things like adding, hair to it. You can either use these kinds of threads for like my hair, for instance, but I've made up some dreadlocks for mine, and I even have one of them will be a dread that came off of a piece of my hair and I kept it, and this is what it's for, these types of workings. So I will even be making a dress for my doll, totally inspired by this fabric I found, and I was like, oh, I wish I could make a dress out of that, but I just got it anyway, and so I'm going to make myself a dress out of it, out of the love and passion I had for that fabric, So let's get started here. You're going to need some kind of scissors. Let me quickly tell you about dill and magical herbs, just a teeny bit, because I did a 30-minute or longer video on it. But the general powers are protection, money, lust, and love. And sugar cane, the powers are lust and love. And roses, let's see if we can go through there. And you'll see why I'm making the bones of it out of all three. QRS. Rose powers, and I know rosewood is different, but in general it's going to be the same. Love, psychic powers, healing, love, divination, luck, and protection. So love, alright? Lust isn't in there, but that's okay, it's all around the others. So there we go, that's out of Scott Cunningham's Encyclopedia for Magical Herbs, which I talk about a lot on my channel. And let's just get to cutting. I have some notes that I want to bring up, and I may add to them as we go along, of things that I want to add into the upcoming videos. Because, like I say, I do a lot of this like on the fly with you guys, and the only reason I'm not doing it on the live is because I can't focus and answer and do all of that. I just want to show you some of the chewings I have here. So basically the sugar cane. The chewings are going to be part of the stuffing for the inside, like the inside of the dress when I fill it up and sew it and stuff it. I'm going to do the cuttings, the chewings for that, which was actually where I sucked the sugar from. My DNA will be a part of that because my saliva's all over it, right? I'll also be anointing this with more of my DNA. And we'll talk about that in that video. A lot of the times you take these and you can soak them so they get wet again, and then they're more manipulatable. And we'll get into more of that probably in a different video when we do corn husks, because this is so... it gives you a splinter so easily. I'm going to avoid trying to manipulate it too much and just try and use it as some of the bones, because it is like really Where's the camera? It is really awesome, the structure of how tough it is. And we'll be taking all this off, but this is what's left of my just now 3-year-old wedding bouquet. Oh my gosh, what's the date? Look how pretty that is. My mother made it. Peggy, thank you so much. Such a cool thing, and way better than something you'd buy at the store. And my mom worked in floral for a long time, so she knew what she was doing. But man, the love she put into this is like makes it even more special to this working, you know, because there's already love added to it when it was created. It wasn't created by a stranger who wanted to get off work quickly and had all that weird energy into it, like stressing or something. It was made by my mom, who wasn't stressing. It was just like lovely. I will keep all of these feathers that are in the bouquet for special workings, of course. This thing that's here, that's like the back of it, I'll definitely use it for something. No idea what. If you guys have good ideas, let me know. You know, it's not super fancy, but it's something. And then I've got some tulle. I'll definitely use that for something. Perhaps, oh, the tulle I'll use for under the dress. Like tulle coming out from under the dress, like a skirt. Oh, I'm so excited for that. See how these things all fall together. It's so cool. So yes, let's take these feathers out. And a lot of these rosebuds are still perfectly whole, and I'm sure they'll come off that way as well. So we're dismembering this wedding bouquet at the same time, but really I just want to not really go into that too much. I really just want to get some of the wood from the stalks, right? And then I'll jar these up and preserve those. They're already dried perfectly. Peggy took care of those for me. So feathers, UV. Here. These ribbons I'll use for some love magic. You know, they were all on a bouquet where I got married. And it was just such the best day. Some of these are pretty long, so I'm just going to do individual roses. Maybe I'll cut them toward the camera. How about that? And I'm only making a poppet for me right now. I'm also going to be doing the same exact working on a poppet for Alex, my husband. So, except for, of course, the poppet will look like him. Some of these ones that have leaves on them still, I like to leave a lot of stem in them because I'll put those into oils. Very special. This has to last me, all of these, this whole bouquet has to last me my whole entire life because I'm only going to have, you know, this one wedding bouquet. And that is amazing. I'm glad that I made it big. So, yeah, saving things from special occasions like weddings, that's really awesome. I save things from birthdays, from, you know, whenever I feel the calling to save something, I do. And some people say that that's so, like, not wasteful, that's opposite, silly or, like, hoarder type of deal, but, I suppose as long as you are in control of your life and it's not, hurting anyone else, and you know you're not hurting yourself with the hoarding, or you know it's yeah, I don't consider it hoarding, you guys, so you're never going to be embarrassed. But if you know you can't use your plumbing because that's your craft room, probably time for you to adjust what's going on for yourself, just so that you can be happy. Alright, so I'm almost through this wedding bouquet. If you send me a comment, I can ask Peggy how she preserved it. She puts it in her curio case. I think she hangs it upside down first. That's my assumption. That's the way I dry things out. Ooh, I like this one. It still has the whole thing connected to it except the petals. And I'm going to make that part of the poppet. I might put that inside of where my head would be. So I'll set that one aside. So yeah, if you want to know how she did that, send a comment and I will ask and reply to ya. I love, see look, these have thorns in them. Okay, I'm going to save those for very separate magic. I'm going to keep those with the roses. Yeah, thorns and magic are great. And use your imagination and think of why would it be great before, you know, you look it up or have somebody tell you the answer. You'll be surprised how many times you're right, you know. And sometimes I talk so fast and you don't have the time to do that. But I have a lot of time to just sit here while I'm doing these kind of DIYs. More people ask for DIY videos, so I'm trying to honor that because I really enjoy watching them. But I also feel like if I give you too much dead air, that you're not getting enough content or people would get bored. So let me know how y'all feel about that, so that I know, and I can take into consideration for my upcoming videos on the rest of this series and the future of all of them. Alright, so that one is special. So I've got a good amount for my two poppets. I probably, obviously I'm not going to use all of these for it because I need to, again, keep these for my whole life. So I'll pick a few cool ones out, you know, as we go along. And then the rest of this I need to go find a bowl for, so I will be back. Where's the stepping stone? Okay. Okay, this is a bowl my husband made me out of love, okay? So I'm going to put the roses in there for now. Again, the more you do to make this so awesome and ritualistic and precious and just treat it that way, and these things, these herbs, these beings, they're not inanimate, you know, they're not, what do you call it? They're living things, and, you know, maybe the spirit of the rose is gone, maybe it's still there. I don't really know how plant spirit works, but I am reading a cool plant spirit familiar book from time to time. I delve into chapters of that, and it's really interesting. So I always treat my plants with love, you know, even when I'm just kind of tidying them up or putting them away, or I come into my herb cabinet and I kiss my jars when I'm organizing them and I thank them for what they're doing for me, things like that. So that's, you know, pretty great. So here's some of the longer ones that I'll save for oils, like the whole thing that'll go into a bottle. It'll look so gorgeous, like Beauty and the Beast, right? And then here's like a smaller one where you could put a couple into a jar. And then out of the whole bouquet I had like 2 petals fall off. So, whoop. However Peggy dried that was immaculate. Really, really something. Thank you, Mama. Alright, so I've got some little other bits and pieces here. I've got that one thorn I'm keeping aside. Let's put that on top. And then I've got some leaves. quite a bit of leaves. So I'm going to keep those too, you know, because everything has a different purpose. And try and think, you know, what would the leaves be for? What would the stems be for? What would the petals be for? What would the roots of that plant be for? Where would that plant grow well? Well, I'll tell you, it grows best in the graveyard, funnily enough. Grows best over human remains. So wild. Yeah, and then so we'll be putting a good amount of these back into this bowl. I'm just going to put it below here and now show you the dill, and we'll cut through that. Really? Oh, I don't know if we can get this into a 30-minute video, this first part, but we shall try. We may have to name the first part "Preparing" for our skeleton, or skeleton part 1. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so I want to use the roots of the dill because it came attached to this whole big pickling piece we got last summer. And I want to definitely use the stalks, like we said, because they have the lust and love properties. But I also want to use the roots as kind of where I'm going to make the feet on the doll, on the Poppet. Call it whatever you like. Voodoo doll, Poppet, doll baby, corn doll, you know, magical corn doll. Whatever you like. Alright, so seeing as I'm going to use it for the feet, I'm going to cut mine from the bottom. And I'm going to cut 4 because I want, there's going to be 2 people, and that's 4 feet, right? These 2 are bent almost right where a knee would be. That's so trippy and so cool. Cool, there's a little dill hanging on there. Oh, it smells so good. It's so pickly. Look at that. So, I've got feet, and look right where a knee would be. They're like already naturally bent. Just how I stored it, you know? Kind of lazily. And where this was, I kind of bent it into my closet. Everything is happening perfect, I feel like, for a reason. Alright, so next, this one kind of has a bent area, but it's not where the knee would be. This one has a knee bend, knee bend. Okay, perfect. That's so funny. There's only 4 that have the bent knees like that. Thank you, spirit guides. How tall did I make this? You know, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but try and make them to scale of the heights of the 2 of you, you know? Wah! One maybe a little bit taller. Oh, I lost a little dill. That's okay. When magical herbs fall onto the floor, I feel like it's for a reason, and it's because, you know, you can do a floor cleansing sweep. Now my floor will be full of love and lust and all the other protections of dill and properties of dill. Here's an extra little foot. I'll just save that for later magics. And I'll dismember and put this dill away at a different time because I'm trying to keep this part of the video as short as possible. Maybe we shall get it all in. What do you guys think? Are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? Okay. That dill smells fantastic, you guys. Really good. All these little trimmings I'm going to do a floor sweep with. And you can make a magical broom to do that. Uh-oh, I need to shut the window because the sun just came in. Okay, I think that'll be better. So, basically, where we've got the think about where it's all going to be, where the knees are, where the head is, where all that's going to be. Now, grab some sticks that are about as long as above the knee bend. You do it however it works out for you, but this is just kind of how it's working out for me, funnily enough, which I'm going with. Use your gut and your intuition for how yours might be bent or what have you. So I'm going to try and like I said, I wanted to put this one in one. I want to put this one in mine, and I think this one's going to be mine. So maybe I'll make it like that. And of course, that bit of rose I'm going to save. And did you hear how loud and woodeny it was? I mean, they're hefty duty love and lust, you know. Nice thick stems for these as well. Or a thin one, you know, the dill's nice and thick. This one matches up perfectly on its own, but you want it a little taller because we might do like a head where we're going to hook hair into, and it would be nice to be taller than the dill. You could even put these rose ones right inside of the dill because, oh, that's what I'm doing. To make it longer if you wanted to, because the dill is got a hole on the inside. But you'd have to need some really skinny ones to do that. So we'll see. We'll see how it works out. Let me get one for Alex's side here. This one's great. See how it extends just a bit more, you know? Alright, so let's just do one more for luck and strength in there. You know I want to do things in threes, but because there's two legs, I'm doing it in twos this time. It's just what I gotta do. So, also another thing that I saw that I thought was interesting. Get those in my bowl very nicely, gently and carefully. Well look, these are going to go around for like a round body, and the other stuff's going to be on the inside, and then we're going to take and roll it up and then tighten it up with the others. I think that's what we'll do. And we'll tighten it up with like red string, or if you don't want to do red string, that would just be for more color magic and to look kind of like a corn dolly. But you know, we'll probably use this because we could make it look like the person as most as possible that way. But again, in this video we're just doing the bones, and we're at what time? 23 minutes. Okay, push along then. We could be adding some of the wood from the sugar cane to the inside of this, and we shall. Let's put it in the legs though, because these woods are shorter. And even though they're going to pass down the feet, you know, don't let that bother yourself. Also, if you get one in here that's kind of like tassel-y, that could be, you know, kind of like they're looking like roots as well. So I'll throw one of those in there, hopefully on each side if I can find one. If not, no worries. There we go. just be thinking of also, like, when you do this and you actually eat the sugar cane, how it makes you feel when you eat it. You know, what inspiration you get from it while you're eating it, that sort of thing. Do these things in the future when you're trying new foods before you look up their qualities, so that you can kind of learn how to do that, trust your intuition, and see how often you're right. That way, when you don't have a book to look in, you can just purely trust your intuition, right? Okay, so now I'm going to just start maybe tying some hemp. I feel like we can do this, we can do this. It's only going to be a part 1 video, I guess it has to, because I've only got 4 minutes and I haven't put arms in. This is really just the whole torso and feet, so there'll be a part 2 video. But let me get these bottom. I'll tie it up probably by the feet first. No, excuse me. I'll be tying it up at the top of the knee joint, like under the knee joint, top of the calf, if you will, because I want to hold all those little feet I put in together with the sugar cane. And then when I put the rose sticks in, I will be tying in, let me get it as tight as possible, I will be tying them in. And as you're tying these knots in, focus on your intention for what this poppet is going to be doing for you, the love, the lust. Focus and visualize this already happening and how happy you'll be, how improved things will be, etc. Okay, so bring that up close so that you can see these kind of like ties I've made, and then also the feet areas, okay? This might look really pretty coming out underneath my dress with like the bit of tulle on top, you know? I think it'll really add to it. So now we will be doing the roses into my head. So cutting another piece of twine. And you know, you're going to be covering this up so you can really make the tie wherever you like, but just make sure that it's tight and that it's made your head where you want it to be. So you could tie this up here if you wanted, and maybe one more down here and one more down here. Just you can move this to the height you want and just start the tie lower if you want this bigger. I'm making quite a big poppet, aren't I? But I'm a statement lady. Like I'm not quiet about things. So yeah, because if your knee is here, your head's there, it's going to be about this big. Okay, cool. So put it there. My throat area has this where the dill ended up right here. So I'll be able to speak love and lust, which will be good. You know, that's healthy. And this isn't a, you know, married woman. I'm talking about making a lust and love poppet for my loving husband. And that's a beautiful thing. So yeah, again, you can keep, I want to mention too, I'll be doing a video on how you can feed and charge these, how you can make a special blessing for them the first time with your DNA, with milk. You have other things you can add to it. Milk, I mean just a tiny drop, like it'll dry. So I will be tying up the second one off camera because I think we're pulling right up, yep, at the 30-minute mark. So just see what we've started here, if you will. And we'll be coming back to do all the different parts. But again, the way I had it stored there just happened to be a bend right here, so I thought go with knees, because that was attached to the roots bit that I wanted from the dill. And then I put some sugar cane, the wood from the outside of the stalk. This is the wood part on the outside, kind of like a bamboo type. And then I've tied in my wedding bouquet rose stems that I just cleaned with you guys. There's a little bit of beautiful smelling dill. Oh gosh, that smells amazing. Right where my throat will be, I'll be able to speak lust. So yeah, and I'll be able to walk it, you know, with the dill as well. So the dill comes all the way up almost into the head, but not all the way. The roses are just at the top of the head. Alright guys, come back with me for part 2. I'll put this next one together, and yeah, thanks, Jen the Taxidermy Witch. Love and Lust Poppets for a beautiful romantic marriage to enhance the love and lust in them.